Hey boys and girls, it's Miss Holmes and Miss Apple, and tonight's lesson is problem solving and how we're going to treat our problems like you do in reading class. We're going to think about our characters, the character's problem, what we can do to help with its solution. So Miss Apple's going to read our problem.
Okay, so boys and girls, our problem says Mr. Barton received 275 email messages in the morning and 150 email messages in the afternoon. He read and deleted 75 messages. What number shows the number of messages left in Mr. Barton's inbox?
So our very first thing on our organizer is what or who is the problem about? So who is our character?
Our character is Mr. Barton. Is that what I write, Mrs. Holmes?
That's what we write. We write it's Mr. Barton.
Okay.
So then our second one is what is Mr. Barton's problem? So we're going to go back to our problem and find the evidence that's going to help us know what his problem is. So if we go back to our question, the question says what number shows the number of messages left in Mr. Barton's inbox? So our problem is we need to find out how many messages are left in his inbox.
So do I write that? Ooh.
Yes, you can just write how many messages left in. Or
find out how many, go ahead.
Messages left in his inbox.
My arm is in the way. In his inbox. Okay?
Okay. So then our next question is it a one-step or two-step? So I need to go back to our problem, and I know if I circle our number sets right here, Miss Apple, here is one number set, two number sets, and a third number set. To decide if this is a one-step or two-step, I need to go back and see, do all of those number sets have to deal with our messages? So Mr. Barton received 275 email messages, so that one I know I'm going to need. And then I go and say, and 150 email messages, so I know I'm going to need that number. And then he read and deleted 75 messages. So it looks like we need all of our number sets, which tells us that it is going to be a multi-step.
Can I just put an M for multi-step, or do I need to write the word?
Well, in the past, we've showed them where we write a one or an M, and we just circle our M to let us know it's a multi-step. Why is it a multi-step?
Because we have the three or more
Number sets that deal with our messages, right?
Correct.
So, do we have any of the extra information?
Not in this problem, we do not.
So we went back, reread it, and to decide that no, it's not extra information. We do need all of those. So again, that's proving that it's a multi-step. So when we go over here, depending on which sentence we can fill out is what's going to tell us what our operation is. So can we fill out the sentence, the total of messages is blank, or I need to find the total of messages. So let's go back to our problem once again and look for that evidence that's going to help us.
Okay, well, again, it's talking about how many email messages he has received, both in the morning and the afternoon, and it also talks about how many he deleted. But don't I need to find how many he had to begin with before he deleted?
Well, if I go back to the story, I can't figure out the total of messages is. I can't tell you that from our story because I don't know our total.
Correct.
So we must need to find the total of messages. So since we need to find, these are our two operations. We have addition and multiplication. We know we're not dealing with equal groups, so we know it's going to be addition.
So can I just circle that?
Let's go back down here and put this. So in our first step, our very first one is we know we're going to do addition, and our reason why is because we're looking for a total of messages.
Looking for total. Okay.
So can we go down here, Miss Apple? We're not doing numbers because we're really thinking about this as a problem. What are we adding? It looks like if I go back to the story, we need to add our morning messages. So can you write M for morning message?
Morning message.
Our operation of addition, that means we're going to combine. And it looks like we need to combine our afternoon messages. So our AF for afternoon messages. So our very first step is we're going to add, and these are the two we're going to combine. And that's going to give me a total of what, Miss Apple? Can you put the equal sign for total?
I can.
So when we combine our morning and our afternoon messages, we're going to get a total of
messages. Total messages. Okay.
So now let's go back to our sentences. Can I now fill in one or these other sentences? We know it's a multi-step, so this is our first. So now can I fill in the total of messages is after I add those together?
Yes.
So now we're looking for either one of these operations. So if you can, are we sharing these messages?
Are we sharing them? No.
So we know our operation is probably going to be subtraction. So subtraction, and why do we subtract? There's two reasons, because we're either comparing or we're taking away. So if we go back to our story, What evidence tells us?
Well, it says he's deleting messages, so to me, that tells me we're taking them away.
Agreed. So can you taking away? And again, boys and girls, we're thinking about our story. We hadn't even got to our numbers yet.
Oops.
This is how much thinking needs to go in. So what are we exactly subtracting?
Well, we're subtracting those 75 he deleted, those 75 messages,
Or what are we deleting them from?
from the total messages we already will have determined.
So over here, we're going to write total of messages.
Total messages minus
Are deleted messages. So you can just put DM for that one.
deleted message. Oh, I'm not using numbers, right?
We're not.
Okay.
So if we took our total messages and we subtracted our deleted messages, what would that give us?
That would give us our number of messages left in his inbox.
So can you write inbox right there, Miss Athel?
Okay, I'm going to put it right here because I'm out of room.
Okay.
Okay.
So look at all of our thinking. Now we have our operations. We know exactly from the story what we're doing. So now is it easy to go to our numbers?
It is easy to go to our numbers.
So tonight you guys have 4 problem-solving questions, and we want you guys to actually think about this process, talk about this process with mom and dad or brother or sister before you get down to the math. We want this piece filled out with no numbers, because this is our thinking, our plan. And once we have our plan in action, then you guys can go into the number piece. Now you technically won't have this sheet of paper with you tonight, but you guys know that you can stop the video, re-look at what we're saying, think about it before you get to it. So we will see you guys tomorrow with your homework done.